Did Spirit of Compassion manipulate Anthony William into a life of servitude? I recently came across this comment on Reddit medical medium community. I can't get over this passage. I will get you to your dog. In return, you must commit to me. We go through this life the way we're supposed to. You accept that it is by the holy power of God you are destined to do this work for the rest of your life. Anthony William is a young man when this happens. I understand that according to the book SOC, Spirit of Compassion, saved Anthony William in this moment, but SOC requires obedience in exchange for that. My personal belief system is that benevolent beings, whether human or otherwise, don't do stuff like that. If I save someone's dog, I don't make that person be my slave. Obviously, Anthony William is not literally a slave, but in some sense, he's obligated to fulfill this commitment. And he even dreams of a day where he's free of the voice. How do we rectify this? I truly wrestle with this. Edit 1. I'm not saying that medical medium protocols aren't powerful. I believe it's the best health advice out there. But this relationship he describes in his books and elsewhere seems abusive and contrary to the principles of benevolence and compassion. Edit number 2. The first time I read this book, I didn't have a dog. When revisiting it, I now have a 2-year-old dog, so I think it hits harder. If anyone tried to manipulate me using the love for my dog, I would do what I could to save my dog, then tell that person what I think of their manipulation. Imagine it was a child. I will save your child, but in return, you must do the work that I command you to do. I think it'd be lazy to say, well, things just work differently among spirit beings. However you slice it, that seems like a bad thing to do. Similarly to how we label some of the stuff the Old Testament God does pretty mean. I will, for time's sake, not get into the comments, although some of them are very interesting, but the conversation can veer off. I will put the link so you guys can check it out for yourselves. In order to get into this and analyze what's happening, we gotta go to the source. This is the most recent book, Life Changing Foods. Go at the end of the book. By the way, I just finished reading this book. That's how long it takes me. This is a great story, by the way, and it's not just a random story. There's a reason why it's in the books, and there's a reason why it's told the way it's told. If you pay attention to the wording, the text. Origins of the medical medium. When I'm a young adult, Spirit assumes I've passed the crisis point that led others with my gift over the centuries to end their lives. Imagine how many prophets decided to end things early. It doesn't say led others to contemplate ending their lives. He assumes I've accepted that using my abilities to heal people is what I'll do for the rest of my life, which goes to show that even Spirit of the Most High can't predict everything when it comes to free will. One day in late fall, I'm at a retreat by the water with no one but the woman I plan to spend my life with and my dog, August, short for Augustine or Augustine. I've had August for a year and I'm very close to her. She replaced my family dog who was with me for 15 years. Just like that dog, August is essential to my sanity. We're sitting by a large, deep bay. Water is icy cold and the current is strong. Makes sense? I mean, late fall, somewhere in November, maybe. It's our last day. With great reluctance, we start getting ready to leave the peaceful isolation of this place. I mean, you can imagine for a person like Anthony William, where every time he comes in contact with other people, Spirit of Compassion starts telling him what's up with that person, what's wrong with that person, health-wise and what's going on in their bodies. To be at a isolated place like that must be heaven. Suddenly, with no warning, my dog jumps into the bay. I sense she picked up on my feelings. This is her way of saying, we don't have to go, let's stay here and keep playing. Unfortunately, both the cold and the current take hold of her. She immediately starts slipping from us. We stand on the shore, screaming at August to come back. I throw stones into the water to try to lead my dog back to me. This is our special signal. Whenever I splash stones in the shallows, she returns to shore. But today, the current pulls her farther and farther away. August goes 50 feet out. I see her struggling to get back and losing the battle. Then the cold freezes her so thoroughly that she stops paddling and goes straight down. I toss off my jacket, boots, and pants and jump into the freezing water. I've swum 15 feet out when Spirit of the Most High says, if you keep going, You're not going to make it. It doesn't matter, I yell. I'm not abandoning August. I have to save my dog. I swim another 15 feet, and then the merciless cold takes over. My body goes numb. Spirit says, you've done it now. You cannot turn back and you cannot go forward. This is it. Really? You robbed me of a normal, peaceful life. I dedicate my whole being to your work of healing, and this is all I get from you? You say this is it and leave us to die? All the angst and anger I've suppressed since I was 4 years old comes pouring out. I let Spirit have it about my years of pent-up frustration over this continual torture I've always had to accept as a gift. Being set apart from everyone else, knowing too much about everyone at way too early an age, and being told what I had to do with my life instead of given even the slightest choice. I tell Spirit I put up with a lot, sacrificing my childhood, experiencing everybody's pain and suffering, taking responsibility for healing thousands of strangers, and draining myself physically and mentally every day. And now you're telling me I can't even protect my own family. No, damn it! I shout as the freezing waves threaten to engulf me. If this is how you want me to end, Spirit, so be it. I'm getting my dog back, or I'm going down with her. Let's stop here for a second. I know the comment speaks of Spirit of Compassion manipulating Anthony William, but we have to acknowledge that Spirit of Compassion doesn't create the circumstances, doesn't put Anthony William in this predicament. Instead, he's trying to stop him. He's trying to warn against it. It's Anthony that chooses to go after saving his dog. He gets to the point where he's giving Spirit a life or death ultimatum. If my dog dies, I go with her. And if I go, your mission goes. Now, he doesn't say that, but he knows that. We have a standoff. I guess we could call this the unstoppable force versus immovable object. A very long second passes. Numb and exhausted, I realize that I may have finally pushed things too far. A few more moments without help, and I'll be following my dog, August, into the depths below. I turn my head toward the shore to get one last glimpse of the woman I plan to spend the rest of my life with. Spirit says, you need to swim out 20 more feet. In shock, I shout, how? To my great surprise, I feel renewed strength. So somebody, Spirit maybe, gives Anthony a boost. I resume swimming. In my mind, I continue to yell at Spirit that I deserve to survive this with my dog. Otherwise, we should both die. So there is a sense of, for lack of a better word, entitlement, or at least that Anthony feels that Spirit owes him. I gave you my life. I've done so much for you, and you are going to be indifferent towards my family. The least you can do is guarantee my family's safety. The text says it. It's not, please save my dog. Please, Spirit, save my dog. No. Really? You're going to abandon me after everything I've given you, after everything I've done for you? Now, I don't think he actually says this, because he says, in my mind, I continue to yell. Spirit says, I will get you to your dog. In return, you must commit to me. We go through this life the way we're supposed to. You accept that it is by the holy power of God you are destined to do this work for the rest of your life. I like that he went there to escape the world. The boys just have a retreat, him and his family, and we have the full consecration of the medical medium mission, both of them coming together. I just think it's funny.
One often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it.
Okay, I shout, deal. Let me find August and I'll work for you with no complaints ever again. You cannot take away the spirit of free will. It's there. He makes that decision, and that seems like negotiating to me. I like that it's not even I will save your dog. He says I will get you to your dog. He doesn't say I will save your dog. Then he says I swim the additional 20 feet. Spirit says hold your breath and go 8 feet down. Then open your eyes. As I hold my breath, a surge of power courses through my body. All of a sudden, I can feel my legs again. I swim what feels like 8 feet down, open my eyes, and see an angel. I've never encountered an angel before. I'm seeing what looks like a woman who has no trouble breathing underwater, with a glorious source of light behind her. Light radiating from her eyes and huge, beautiful wings of light growing out of her back. There's no question she's a divine being. And in her arms is August, surrounded by a beautiful, peaceful light, For a moment, it feels like time stands still. My vision is surprisingly clear underwater, and I have no fear or trouble holding my breath. I grab my dog by her collar, and something pushes me upward with her. We both reach the surface of the water. The bay is still icy cold, and the current is still trying to violently pull us away from land and life. The wind is blowing strong. When I open my eyes again, I see Spirit for a moment standing right above the water. It's the only time I've seen Spirit since the first day he appeared to me at age 4. We don't have much time, he says. The angel is leaving. Just as I register once again that all could have been lost, another surge of power charges through my body. My dog and I soon make it back to shore and to my future wife, who is crying with relief. As I drag myself and my dog up to the rocky sand, I cry in agony, not because I'm feeling the initial stages of hypothermia, but because I'm afraid my dog is gone. All I can think is, let her still be alive. She opens her eyes, gasps for air, and comes to life. The sun appears from behind the clouds, and a streak of light races across the water and shines on my dog, August. I look at the light and say, Spirit, thank you. I realize this is the first time since Spirit entered my life that I've ever thanked him for anything. The battles I've waged with Spirit of the Most High since I was 4 years old have to end. It's time for me to acknowledge the cards I've been dealt. Even before this point, people in need have been coming to me in droves. With this pledge, I wholly dedicate myself to helping them without reservation and for the rest of my life. I don't have to pretend the abilities I've been granted are a problem-free blessing, yet I stop complaining and finally accept who I am. That's when I truly assume my role as the medical medium. If what Anthony Williams says is true, then he has been fighting Spirit of Compassion every step of the way, resisting, refusing at times. I remember the drum story. Anthony liked to play the drums, and one of the reasons why he really liked it so much was because he could block out the voice from Spirit of Compassion. I can think of plenty of circumstances where a benevolent being would require obedience from their child or their pet. In this moment, we don't even have to travel that far. Anthony William required obedience from his dog. But let's assume that everything happened so fast that the dog wanted to obey but couldn't. They just got overtaken by the currents and the cold. If your child is about to cross the street and an oncoming vehicle is about to hit them, you better believe you would require obedience. This is the interesting thing. The Spirit of Compassion didn't even require obedience from Anthony William on his way to save his dog. He says, if you keep going, you're not gonna make it. Who's more invested in Anthony's life than Spirit of Compassion? Spirit of Compassion has put everything into this person. Years and years, and so many lives are healing. He says even before this moment, people have been coming to him in droves. And this is barely scratching the surface. We don't even know everything that has happened between the two. I've been fighting Spirit of Compassion for my whole life. I've been resisting the battles I waged, They all come to an end. They both reach this point of like an understanding. Okay, we're doing this. Deal. That's why he says, that's when I truly assume my role as the medical medium. And I, for one, am so grateful. I wish it happened under better circumstances, but I am so grateful that that moment in time happened and they both came together. Create what is the biggest healing movement on the planet. Let me know what you guys think. Tune in for part 2, the prophetic calling. People have often said, what a gift you have. Some have even called me a prophet.